So I don't really have a hook for this one because you either like watching stories of how people got fat or you don't. So this is the story of how I got fat. Hi, this is Future Editing Bethany. I realize this video is a little bit longer than I typically do. So I am gonna leave time codes in the description, and if you wanna jump around in the video, you can feel free to do so. I will label different points in the story. So thank you. So this is the story of how I became 315 pounds by the age of 25. So I did not script this one at all. That's not true. I have bullet points. My daughter is singing in her nap time. So if you can hear that. So going back to childhood, because that's basically where this all started. I had a very good childhood, nothing crazy. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad had a very steady job. He was in the military, so we didn't move a lot, but my mom was always there. My parents are still together to this day. They've been married for 40 years. So I never went through a divorce or anything like that, nothing traumatic. I had a very happy, boring childhood. I was homeschooled, which I think plays a little bit of a role in how I didn't know I was overweight until later, maybe. I don't know if I would have noticed sooner if I was in school, because I did first notice that I was overweight when I went to a private school. But family history, my dad's side is all thin. To this day, my grandmother is still alive. She's in her late 80s and she is like 120 pounds. Like, she's tiny and she's always been tiny. My dad is very thin. My mom's side of the family, however, all the women are overweight. So my grandmother was overweight and did pass away from complications due to heart failure. My aunt, my mom's sister, was morbidly obese. My mom was morbidly obese. She lost the weight. She's not dead. Oh my gosh. All these people are still alive except for my grandmother, but she lived to be 88. So this is rambly already. I'm not good at this. So yeah, my mom's side was overweight. My dad's side was not. My mom was overweight. I was overweight. So like I said, I never really understood that I was like a bigger kid until I went to school when I was in 6th grade. I went to a private Christian school, and that is when I realized that I was overweight. And I remember specifically that I weighed 170 pounds. And I was about maybe 5'4", 5'5" at the time, a little bit shorter than I am now. I'm 5'7". So I wasn't quite fully grown there. And I remember specifically weighing about 170 pounds and feeling like that was really a lot. And what's kind of sad is I actually have not seen 170 pounds since then. Hashtag goals. So middle school and high school mark the beginning of the yo-yo diet era for me. I literally did everything. Weight Watchers multiple times, Atkins, South Beach diet, I had gym memberships. I went to Curves, which is one of those like ladies circuit style gyms. I don't even think it still exists anymore. I was very into ice skating at the time. I literally had private lessons. I competed, was still overweight. I would skate 4 to 5 days a week for hours. So I was very active. I did low fat diets. I did low carb diets. I literally tried everything, which is sad for a middle schooler. Like during this time, I remember sitting at the lunch table in middle school, having eaten nothing for breakfast but a Slim Fast shake or an Atkins shake, and then having a protein bar and a tiny little side salad with no dressing for lunch, which now that I calculate that out as an adult, I'm like, I was eating like 400 calories for lunch, for breakfast and lunch together, which is starvation. It's sad that I thought that was appropriate or necessary. So it was also during the middle school years that I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes. So that was really scary. And also hypothyroidism. So I was having some health complications that are kind of chicken and the egg. Like, I mean, the diabetes would definitely be caused by the weight. I feel like hypothyroidism is one of those weird chicken and egg situations where it's like, does the hypothyroidism cause the weight gain, or does the weight gain cause the hypothyroidism? And we don't really know. And I remember being told that it was incurable. It was something that I would be dealing with for the rest of my life. Spoiler alert, that's not true. After I lost over 100 pounds, my thyroid's normal. Go figure. And still to this day, the doctors will tell me, well, you must have been misdiagnosed. I'm like, well, okay, maybe I was misdiagnosed, but my thyroid went from not working to working. So, which they say doesn't happen. So I guess a little bit more about the high school experience. I never went on a date, ever. Never had a boyfriend, ever. I struggled a lot with depression. I guess I should put a disclaimer at the beginning of this. I did deal with a lot of depression, very severe depression during that time. I dealt with a lot of people saying a lot of things to me that no one should ever say to a child. And I'm not even talking about the kids. Like, kids are mean. We get that. Adults in my life. My gym teacher was constantly on me about how I should work out more. Like I said, I used to work out hours in a day for figure skating. I would go to school, I would come home, I would skate from 5 to 8 p.m. 3 hours. And I'm not talking like, oh, I'm just gonna lollygag and talk with my friends. Like, no, I was training. I was jumping, I was spinning, I was practicing edge work. I had very strong legs. And then I also had gym memberships where I would walk on the treadmill and lift weights. I did like body pump classes and things like that. So there was the gym teacher, there was my music teacher who told me, and this is sad that I remember this, I'm 36 years old and I still remember this, this was in high school. She told me that I needed to grow a personality. She literally said it like that. I was like, okay, will do. Sorry that my personality doesn't jive with you. I was very introverted, very, very, very introverted. And then I also did have a family member who still doesn't know how to talk to people about weight. Just very focused on physical things and saying things to children that shouldn't be said. And I know she doesn't mean harm by it, but definitely things have been said to me even when I was a child. Like, no one is ever going to want to marry you because you're fat. No one is going to want to be friends with you because you're fat. Yeah. And that's hard to hear. And it's also not true. So if someone has said that to you, don't listen to them. Listen to me. And on top of these people that were in my life saying things like this to me, I have also had strangers take time out of their day to say mean, nasty things to me as a teenager. I remember when I was about 16 or 17 years old, I was in the height of depression and all the things that go with that. I don't want to get, dropped on YouTube. Not that I'm picked up on YouTube anyway, but I was very depressed, and a stranger rolled down his window at an outdoor mall. I was walking with a friend of mine, and he shouted out his window, "Keep walking, fat ASS," to a 16-year-old girl, grown man. And I shouted something not so nice back at him. We've grown up since then. But I will never understand why strangers take time out of their day to insult people that you don't know, and you don't know what they're going through. So that being said, don't do that. Middle school and high school were hard. They were very hard. So hard that I actually told my parents that I wanted to get out of school early. Not drop out, but I homeschooled over the summer 1 year, basically, or over the summer, and then I skipped into the next grade. And so I actually only did 3 years of high school before I graduated because I wanted out so bad. So when I graduated from high school, I weighed 270 pounds. After I graduated from high school, I took a whole year off to lose weight. My parents were down with this. They were very supportive. They bought me a really fancy gym membership. I didn't have a driver's license at the time, so my mom would literally drive me to the gym every single day and drop me off there, and I would just stay all day. And I would work out all day, like punishment style. And I was also doing Weight Watchers during this time, and I did find some success during that time. I don't know how you couldn't, working out all day and doing Weight Watchers religiously. So I would say from graduation, which would have been like May or June, and this would have been, when was this? 2005? Yeah. So 2005, May or June until Christmas, I lost about 20 pounds over the course of 6 months, which of course was not as much as I wanted to lose. I was kind of proud, but I was kind of not at the same time. And then we went to a family Christmas get together, and my aunt, who I mentioned earlier, my mom's sister, actually came in looking a lot thinner than I remember her being. And it turned out that she had actually had gastric bypass surgery and had lost 40 pounds in a month. After I just spent 6 months losing 20, working my butt off. And so I was really kind of discouraged and depressed and a really dramatic teenager during that Christmas, and it was really, really, really bad. So my mom and dad at that point ended up telling me that they had been looking into seeing if they could send me to a weight loss camp. At that point, there was a weight loss camp that accepted adults up to age 24 or 26. I can't remember, but I was 18. So obviously it was a totally voluntary thing at that age. And they asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, yes. So I did. The next phase of my weight loss was at weight loss camp, or I should say waiting for weight loss camp. Prior to going to weight loss camp, I had lost a total of 42 pounds. So at the Christmas, I had lost about 20. And then from Christmas until the time I left to go to camp, which would have been June of 2006, I lost a total of 42 pounds. And then I went to weight loss camp. Weight loss camp was an 8-week experience, and I actually super loved it. The camp is no longer open. There was a lot of controversy surrounding it. Okay, sorry if the lighting or angle changed. My phone ran out of storage. So we had to delete some things because it's the life now. Where was I? Wellspring. So yeah, I went to Camp Wellspring, New York, which was a weight loss camp in the early 2000s, 2010s. Like I said, I think it's closed now. A lot of the kids that went there non-voluntarily, I guess, complained. I had a lot of fun. I thought it was great. I was there voluntarily as an adult. So, you know, it was basically based in a low-fat diet with low energy density foods, aka low calorie for high volume. There were foods that were unlimited, so we weren't like starving or anything. You could eat unlimited salad, unlimited water-based soups or broth-based soups, unlimited fruit, yogurt, cottage cheese, things like that were just available on a bar, like at every meal, and you could just eat as much of you as you want. And then there was like an entree that you would just get one of. And I felt perfectly fine. And then it was also based off, so you would eat their diet and track your food. And you had a goal of getting 10,000 steps a day. You had to journal. There was group therapy once a week, and also CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy individual sessions. So basically individual therapy, I think we did once or twice a week. I can't really remember. And I had a great time. I thought it was wonderful. I lost a total of 30 pounds while I was at camp. So in those 8 weeks, I lost 30 pounds, bringing my total up to 72 pounds lost through my own diet and exercise weight loss efforts. I do remember during that time that the therapist kept trying to like pinpoint why I was overweight. Like, why do you overeat? They were really trying to come up with some kind of a trauma or something in my childhood. They kept accusing me. So if I had something negative to say, they kept trying to accuse me of like hiding something or like not telling them the full truth as to like why I overate. And I'm like, I promise you, I had the world's most perfect childhood. Like, I was never abused. I had nothing. Like, my parents love each other. Like, I don't have anything that led me to emotionally eat. They're like, well, why are you depressed? Like, you're obviously overweight because you're depressed. And I was like, I'm depressed because I'm overweight. I used to tell them that all the time. I was like, I am depressed because I am overweight, not the other way around. Which in my adult life, maybe that wasn't entirely true. I don't know. I think depression doesn't have to have a cause. I think sometimes it's just, all right, again, with the storage. Apparently you have to restart the phone to get the storage to clear. Now we know. So overall, I thought camp was a really positive experience. I really enjoyed it and found success. I lost 72 pounds total from the time I took that year off until the end of camp. And then I literally drove straight from camp to college. I went into my freshman year having freshly lost 72 pounds. I was feeling pretty good. I'll insert some pictures. I was happy with how I looked at that point. I would have stayed there. I was 198 pounds. When I went into college, I declared a major of kinesiology. For those of you that don't know what that is the study of human movement. Basically, when I graduated from college, I was a personal trainer as well as a certified health and fitness specialist. Which is a really advanced personal trainer that actually requires a degree in order to have that certification. Basically, I was an exercise physiologist. I could have gone on to occupational therapy or physical therapy, sports trainer. A lot of people with kinesiology degrees end up being coaches and things like that. During college, there was a lot of things diet-wise that I thought were positive. I gave up soda and pretty much have not had very much soda since then. I could probably say in the last 18 years, because I'm 36 now, I've probably had 2 12-packs of soda in those 18 years total. Like, and maybe not even that much. Like, it's so rare. I also became a vegetarian. I was a vegetarian for quite a long while, starting. My battery is gonna die. This is not going well today. I don't have a plug. Let's see how much I can get done. I became a vegetarian my freshman year, and that continued until well after college. But during college, even though I was a kinesiology major, a lot of my classes were very active. I had weight training classes and running classes, and as well as a lot of scientific-based classes. Even though I was super active and going to the gym every single day, I wasn't weighing myself, and I was definitely eating at the school cafeteria. And I didn't know it, but I was slowly gaining weight. During that time, I also went back to that camp, the weight loss camp, as a counselor for 3 of my 4 summers. So not the first summer after my freshman year. I actually applied too late. But the summer after my sophomore year, after my junior year, and after my senior year of college, I worked as a counselor at that weight loss camp. And so what was happening was I would be at college and I would gain weight, and then I would go to camp and I would lose weight. And so we were basically yo-yoing again. And when I would gain it back, I would gain it back plus more. And that cycle continued through college. So when I graduated from college, like I said, I was a certified personal trainer. I was a certified health and fitness specialist. I had a bachelor's degree in kinesiology, exercise science, and I also weighed 270 pounds. That number probably sounds familiar because that's exactly how much I weighed when I graduated from high school. And again, pictures, or over here somewhere. Post-college, obviously, I was not going into the personal training field weighing 270 pounds. So I worked a series of random jobs. I was a bank teller for a while. I sold furniture for a while. I went into jewelry sales. And while I was working at the jewelry store, I hit my all-time high of 315 pounds. I was 25 years old. And at that point, I was so depressed. I was ready to be done, if you take my meaning. I basically told my mom that I needed to have weight loss surgery, or like that was pretty much gonna be it. Like that was my ultimatum in life, essentially. I was like, this has to come off. I don't care about the risks. I'm gonna have weight loss surgery. I was kind of yo-yoing during this time as well. So I wasn't just like throwing the towel in. It's just, I would like lose 10 pounds, gain 15 pounds, lose 12 pounds, gain 20 pounds, lose, you know how it is. So by my 26th birthday, I was already fully decided that I was going to have weight loss surgery. And in May of 2014, I had a mini gastric bypass surgery, which changed my life forever. So I initially planned to stop this video here because this is like the story of how I got fat, not the story of how I got thin. So I have a couple of other videos on my weight loss. I am planning to go into more detail later. Maybe the next one will be gastric bypass surgery and how it changed my life. Pros, cons, all that fun stuff. Because there are pros and cons, there are side effects. It's not a perfect scenario, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Spoiler alert. But that is my story of how I gained up to 315 pounds. All right, so it is a couple of days later from when I filmed that last bit, and it is weigh-in day. So we will get into that in just a second. So last week when I weighed in, I was 203.0. And this week, I weighed in at 200.8 for a total loss of 2.2 pounds this week, which I'm super thrilled about, but obviously I was a little disappointed that it didn't hit Wonderland this week, but that's okay, maybe next week. So for tracking my totals, I am now down from April when I started this whole thing last time. I'm down 20.8 pounds from that time, and from my all-time high, I am down 114.2 pounds. So, yay! So we're gonna keep going. Tune in next week. Maybe we'll be in Wonderland by then. And in the meantime, you can check out my What I Eat in a Days, or I also have a 75 soft challenge that I have started. So you can go check out those videos in the meantime, and I will see you next week. Bye.